All right. Hey, Gina, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thanks for jumping on this call today. Goal today is
Absolutely.
to help get you from where we are right now to wherever you want to go, or at least get you on the journey in the path. That's
Right.
what coaching is. It's a vehicle. It's a way to get from someone from where they are to wherever they want to go and beyond that. So tell us what should we be talking about today? Where do you want to start this call?
Well, I've got a goal of, trying to get 4 listing agreements in the month of March. Halfway through, I've only got one.
Okay.
Um, and I've got a lot of pendings and good conversations going, but there's just a few that I've got to get over the hump and into an actual agreement to where they'll agree to work with me.
Okay. So you have one so far.
hmm
All right. Awesome. Now, as far as the other three, where are we with those three?
I have one in particular that is a client that wants to do an off-market listing, but I don't think that I can get him what he needs or what he wants to walk away with if we do an off-market listing. And so,
Okay.
uh, so that's a pending that I've got to have a good way of communicating to him that if he wants a certain price point, then we've got to go active.
Okay.
Um, so that's one of them. I have one lead that if I can make a compelling argument that I would market his product. It's a builder, small builder, six. It's a lead that could produce 6 listings. But what I've got to be able to do is convince him that I could do a better job marketing his product and getting his product sold sooner than his last agent.
Okay. Got it. So you have one off-market potential that wants more than this house is worth, you think?
hmm
Okay. And then you have a builder who has possibly 6 listings.
hmm
Okay. And then
Yeah.
what else?
And then another one, it's a FISBO that he's gone dark.
Got it. Okay. So the FISBO that's gone dark. So that's probably so let's break the and now today is March 15th.
Yeah.
So that gives us 16 days to take 3 listings. All
Yeah.
right, so let's look at our 3 sources here. And take a look. So if we have source 1, off-market listing, wants more then it's probably worth, possibly
Yeah.
get him to be reasonable, put it on the market and sell. So there's some possibility. Number 2 is builder with 6 listings. And number 3 is FISBO that's gone dead. So out of those 3, which one should we focus on the most?
I think the 6 listings is probably the one that's going to be the most productive.
Okay, awesome. So what if I challenged you to just say, forget about the FISBO,
Yeah.
right? Let's, and we can add that to like a follow-up, right? Like, hey, check back in a few weeks, maybe they're just doing their own FISBO thing right now, right?
Yeah.
And then, check back.
hmm
Now what about the off-market guy? What can we do with this guy to kind of see if that's somebody that's real or not?
I think I think initially I need to go and find out what a cash offer would look like.
Didn't, is this the same guy we talked about last week?
Yeah, we talked
Yeah,
about him on Friday.
I thought I thought we were losing that guy last week. What happened?
I didn't get to talk to him last week.
Oh, you haven't talked to him yet.
No, I didn't get to talk to him last week. So I'm calling. So Erin and I talked uh, today about it. She and I weren't able to connect last week on it, and so we talked today about it. And um, so my follow up with him is this afternoon.
Okay, awesome.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
let's hear, what does that conversation sound like?
So I think the first thing I've got to do is just get a commitment to work with me, whether I find to get to represent him, whether I find him a cash offer, an investment offer or not. Oh, sorry, whether I find him an investment offer or something else, I need a written commitment that says that that he'll let me, I'll represent him in that offer. But I think step 2 is generate a cash offer that will demonstrate what he can get if we don't market it.
So yeah, it sounds, I'm just being on, can I just give you some direct?
Mhm.
Like when I like to coach, I typically like to just ask a lot of questions. And, I think there's a difference between coaching, consulting. Like consulting is like, you're just kind of telling people what to do for the most part. Coaching,
Yeah.
you want to help people kind of self-discover. But I think I like to sometimes do a combination of both, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. I personally, I mean, you got a guy with 6 listings. You got another guy that, we talked about this last week, isn't even reasonable. I mean, I would say, for you to spend time with this person is just taking away from the opportunity of the guy with the 6 listings, in my opinion. I
Sure.
mean, so I think just going to this person and saying, I don't remember our exact conversation, but I think you just got to say, listen, this is the way we can sell your house.
Mhm.
That works. Awesome. Let's do it. If not, then hey, it's fine.
Yeah.
Have a good rest of your day. And right. I mean, what's preventing you from doing that?
Well, I think it's just the fact that I know I could help him. He just doesn't want to be helped.
Well,
That's the harder part.
yeah, well, how do you help someone that doesn't want to be helped?
That's a good point. Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
We can only help ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember one of my mentors had said to me, "Listen, I'll help someone, but I'll help someone up the hill, but I'm not going to carry him up the hill."
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Mhm.
you can only do so. I mean, yeah, my kids, of course, right? But this is, so I think, the key is going to be motivation. So here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying ditch the person, because that might not be,
Mhm.
but I would just have a real conversation like we talked about before and just say, listen, this is how I can help you.
Yeah.
Because even if he's like, oh yeah, I'll sign a contract with you if you get me my unreasonable number off market, then what are you going to end up doing, Gina?
Yeah. Well, I'm not I'm not going to get him the offer that he wants. I
You're
don't.
not. You're going
No.
to spin your wheels. You're going to waste time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And see, here's the challenge for you and for me and for everybody that watches this. As we're spending time doing that, we don't think of it this way, but as we're spending the time doing that,
Yeah.
we're taking away from other things we can be doing
Yeah.
that are more productive, that are a better use of our time, because we only can be in one place at a time.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. It's that whole best yes
Yeah, years
scenario.
ago, somebody taught me pre-qualification, the pre-qualification process. And I always remember the first call I made. I was in the Worcester Keller Williams office, and I was scared to death to ask that question. If everything we talk about today makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident, are you going to hire me today when I come out? Because
Right.
I was scared they were going to say no. and,
Right.
and the
Right.
guy said, yeah, I guess so. I'm like, whoa, holy cow. But that's not even the point. You shouldn't even expect the yes, right? Although I did, and it was nice. I just have to be okay with getting deep into the conversation,
Yeah.
and if they say no, okay, great. Tell me more. Well, because I'm meeting with 4 agents and blah, blah, blah. And this agent told me to do it for this percentage, and
Mhm.
awesome. So I may just say, okay, great. Why don't you do this? Meet with those other 4 agents first. And
Mhm.
then I'll reach back out to you. And if it makes sense, we'll keep our appointment, or I'll set my appointment last,
Yeah.
or I'll just say, you know what, basically, if you're looking for someone that does that's actually not something we can do. So I'll send you my information. And if you want to, if you're open to what we do, I'm happy to meet with you. And a lot of times people are going to be like, wow, this is like the real deal, right? If you go into like a Porsche dealership or a Mercedes dealership, do you walk in and just say, hey, I'll give you, this car's priced 60 grand. I'll give you 52. What do you think they're going to say?
Yeah, no.
You'll be like, beat it. Get out of
Right,
here, right?
right.
Why, right? You walk in the doctor's office, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, geez, you don't have insurance, you're not getting past the door, right? Nowadays, it's the same thing
yeah,
with these sellers. If they don't have the right motivation and they're not responding correctly to you and your questions, then they don't deserve any time, honestly. That's my
okay,
opinion. I don't care about their time. You're a client of mine. I care about your time.
yeah,
So that we only have so much of it. So again,
okay.
we just spent a lot of time on this person. I don't know who it is. We talked about him last week. So I think the next step for you is to just have a conversation and just
Mhm.
say, hey, listen, we've talked about it. I've talked to my team lead. The way we can help you the most is if we get your home listed on MLS, because that way we can attract a lot of people to it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, unless I'm missing something.
No, I mean, I think it's the only way to go for him to
Okay.
get what he wants. Yeah,
And yeah, and it sounds like even that might be a little skeptical.
yeah, might be,
Yeah,
but we'll
there
see.
you go. There you go. So
Yeah,
anyway, so we'll move on. You know what to do. Just let me know how you make out. All
okay,
right. This is not your top priority client. Now let's
yeah,
talk about the 6 listings guy.
yeah, yeah. So he's so small builder. So far, he has built every home he's built, he's lived in, with the exception of the last one. The last one he built 2 years ago, um, and he built it to sell. And the agent that he had, he loved how the agent worked during the building process, but then by the time it came to actually selling the home, he wanted the home sold, you know, before the finishes were picked out. And the home didn't sell until, really after the home was completely done.
Okay.
And so his timing is, he wants it sold, before he's at his highest point of interest rate on the that he's paying out on the construction loan. And so that's basically your point of sheetrock. Once sheetrock is up, that's when he wants the house to be under contract.
Sure. Which makes sense. That's
Mhm.
normal. It's hard to sell until there's something there, right? Like most buyers can't conceptually
Right.
see unless it's like this super, super hot neighborhood and there's houses all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah.
it's not.
Okay.
It's not. Yeah. So there's a couple of unique things that are part of this. One, it's in an area of town where this price point is going to be at the highest. Actually, it's hovers just above the higher end price point for the area. Um, but what's working in our favor is
Well, we don't
a
want to be
lot
the
of
highest price point in the area, by the way, but because that means you have an obstacle to overcome when you're the highest price in the area.
right, right,
However, if the value's there and the inventory is so low, you don't want it. You never know, right?
yeah,
Have they broke ground yet?
not yet.
No, no
No,
broke. There's nothing there.
nothing there, nothing but woods. So they
So
still got to clear the
the
land.
woods, they
Yeah,
haven't cleared the land. When does that start?
in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, good. So that helps.
Hmm.
You see trucks moving around, you see trees coming down, land being cleared. Buyers see
Hmm.
that. And okay, right. They see
Creates
woods.
interest.
Woods is nothing. They
Right.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So what would you do from a marketing standpoint? So if I just assume that we've got this deal and we had the opportunity to start marketing it now, how do you create interest around that?
Well, I mean, you use the MLS. Do your renderings. I'm guessing you must have some renderings, floor plans, put together. A presentation online, and
Hmm.
then when do they plan to have them complete?
September.
Oh, okay, got it. All right, cool. So you've got some time. I mean, the key thing over there is going to be, him getting to work and starting to, get that land cleared and get stuff happening. That buyers see
Mhm.
that, they start driving by. The nice thing with those is you get one, and then all of a sudden it becomes this whole domino effect. I've done a lot of new construction. Coincidentally, I don't know if you knew that, but I
Mhm.
started in new
Yeah.
construction in like 2005. So it always, very rarely does anything happen until the house is being sticked out. Like foundations in, sticks are going up, people can walk in. That's usually, unless it's in a super hot, desirable, hard to get into area, you're
Mhm.
gonna need something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this guy knows that or not, but you may want to just keep, you want to keep reminding him that we got to get something.
What do you mean by get something?
We need a product. We need something people can walk into
Right.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
say, hey, wow, okay, there's a framed house here. People need to see that
Right.
with new
Yeah.
construction.
Yeah.
So let's back up though. We're talking about marketing. We don't even have the listing yet. So
Point
tell
made.
us again, what's the challenge with the other person here? This past agent, he's not gonna, is it expired, or where did it come from?
Yeah, so I connected with this guy, this builder, because the house that he built and sold went back on the market and expired. So it went back on the market after 2 years
Yeah.
and was up for sale and expired. And just when I called on the expired, I ended up with not the actual owner, but the original builder. And so that led to further conversation. His problem with the former agent is he could trace back the person who actually bought the home was the agent of a friend of theirs who you know had a friend moving in from out of state, knew they wanted new construction, connected with him, the builder, like early on in the process. And all in the meantime, the agent that he was listing the home with, put a sign in the yard, put it on the MLS, and from the builder's perspective, he felt like the agent didn't do anything beyond that. Just sent him a monthly update on how many clicks it saw, how many views they saw the house saw online, et cetera, how many showings. He felt like the home didn't see enough showings, and there wasn't enough. The agent didn't report back in enough to say, what was happening and what were they going to change in order to generate more activity. Um,
Well,
and then eventually the
but
person that bought the house is a friend.
oh, so you're talking about, this is the experience they had with the past, not with this property.
Not with this property, no, with the
Okay,
with
got it. All right. So
yeah.
this property's never been listed.
Mm-mm.
So you're applying for the job basically to be the new agent on a new property.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
who can help you with that, Gina?
Well, I mean, we're working up a plan. I'm drilling down into a more specific plan with the team that I work on to
Yeah.
uh, what we're trying to do is put together a timeline that says here's what from assuming that you sign with us from April to September, here's what we will do to market the home to get it under contract by the time drywall goes up.
And you should, I mean, how's inventory in the area? Is it low?
Low.
Okay.
Yeah, remarkably low.
Should be a slam dunk then. So, you're on Aaron's team. I know
Hmm.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your trump card right there, right? That's your, I don't know what word I'm looking for. Yeah, that's your tool that you're going to use to get the listing. Use her
Hmm.
experience, her resources, the team, right? This is a
Yeah.
perfect example of why, where the being on the team is going to benefit you.
Right.
And don't
Yeah.
try to do this by yourself.
Right.
It doesn't
No.
sound like you are, right? You're not.
No.
Yeah.
No. Not at all.
All right. So what I want to talk about, because we've got about 6 minutes left, is
Hmm.
is focus here. So we just had two conversations about two potential listings. And based on the conversations, what takeaways have you gotten?
Well, that I need to put my energy behind the one that's going to yield the most. That's the most promising, and that's the 6 listings. You know, follow up with appropriate appropriate follow up to the FSBO, and appropriate follow up to, you know, the off market property. But my energy doesn't need to go there. My energy needs to go towards what could potentially produce 6 listings for me.
Yeah. I mean, how much of your energy, if you have, if you are using 100% focus and energy, how much percentage of that should go to each area?
I mean, I'd say 5, 5, and 90% of my energy needs to go to the 6 potential listings.
Yeah, I agree. I would say it's probably, 2% to the FSBO, 8% to the unmotivated, and then 90% to this person. Absolutely. 100%. Like, like you,
Yeah.
I want you to think like you're doing that guy a favor. And if he doesn't
Mhm.
want to take advantage of your favor, then you wish him the best and move on. And we got to focus on getting these 6 listings.
Yeah.
That's our top priority right now, top by far.
Yeah.
Right now, let's say you talk to the guy and he's like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's get that on the MLS and let's put it on at a price that's going to cause it to sell. Then by all means, all of a sudden now he just went up to maybe a 50-50 because we need to get that on there right away, right?
Right.
But unless you have that conversation, he doesn't even move.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Okay. I got it.
All right. So what's the next plan of action? What are we going to do right away?
Finish out. Well, I'm going to call my guy on the lake and at least just kind of close the loop on that, on what has to happen in order to be able to get him what he needs, and then let him decide what he wants to do.
Okay. Awesome.
Put my FSBO on a follow up plan that just makes sure that I've got it scheduled so that I don't, lose him somewhere. He doesn't get lost in the mix. But then by the end of the week, I need to have this, a more comprehensive, specific marketing plan for these 6 listings, and get it to him by the end of the week so that he has something to make a decision off of.
So here's something that may help. What is he looking for in the agent that he hires? What's most important to him?
Proactive action, not reactive. So for him, he feels like a sign in the yard, and MLS listing is merely reactive.
Okay.
It's going to draw, he wants to know what other proactive actions are we going to take, or steps are we going to take in order to market the product.
So what other steps could you take beyond putting it on the MLS?
I mean, we're focused on social media. We know that right now in Nashville, there's a lot of people that are moving from, into the area from out of state. And so how do we engage that audience and leverage that? We know that people are moving further away from the city center, and they want a larger home to accommodate work from home scenarios. So how do we engage that audience and leverage that? So I think a lot of it lies in leveraging social media to market.
Okay. Does he want you to work with other agents, or is he trying to get you to sell it yourself, or does it matter? Do you know?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Are you familiar with migration patterns?
I'm not.
Well, you can, I think I only learned about it because I used to be at your company and they talked about it in command, which I'm not sure how, how it is right now, but I know you can find out, like you can see like where people are, like if you look at where people are moving and then seeing where they're coming from, it kind of shows you the migration patterns, right? Like a lot of people, unfortunately, right now are leaving California and they're going other
Yeah.
places. And you start to see where people start to migrate. And then you can go back and say, okay, now I know a lot of people that are coming here. Like right now, we have
Mhm.
an area called Rutland, which has always been like this woodsy area, but all of a sudden, all these builders now are starting to build there. And what's
Yeah.
happening is a lot of people that were looking at like Shrewsbury and Westboro are now looking at this Rutland.
Yeah.
So having those conversations with people and letting the builder know, well, I understand now I can market hyper local to these different condo communities in Rutland. I can advertise to the hospitals, to the biotech areas, things like that.
Yeah.
It just puts you in a place that you may have more awareness of what's happening. So I think that, that is helpful, figuring out where the buyers for his units would come from.
Mhm.
Because if he's looking for a proactive agent, right? I mean,
Yeah.
is that what proactive means to him? Have you confirmed that?
Based upon our conversations, yes.
Okay, well, I would just
Yes.
confirm, make sure that is what he means.
Mhm.
When you say, because if you said proactive, not reactive, but that could mean something different to him.
Mhm.
A great thing to do, Gina, is to say, hey, tell me, you mentioned you were looking for a proactive agent. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that means to you?
Mhm.
And then they'll tell you. A lot of times people will tell you exactly how to sell them. It's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like a FISBO's or an expired or somebody I'm talking to will be like, yeah, I'm meeting with 3 agents. Oh, that's amazing. Super, super smart. Let me ask if, when you do hire an agent, what's the most important thing you're looking for in the agent that you hire? Well, I
Mhm.
want somebody that understands open houses. Okay, great. Tell me more about that. And they'll tell you. So now when you show up with this elaborate open house system that like it blows it like nobody's ever heard of, with like 60 signs and signs on every corners and the 3-day start plan, right? I mean,
Right.
because people will tell you what you can do to sell them. And then the other thing I would say is being proactive also is reaching out to other agents.
Yeah.
So going on the MLS and you can see, like we used to pull a report and it would tell, like I could put in a fake MLS listing, like 123 Main Street or in a certain zip code. And then it would tell me how many agents have buyers in that area. So then I could tell the seller based on this price point. I don't know if your MLS could do that. That we can do that in our MLS. It's like a
Okay.
dummy listing. So it would say in this area, there's 500 agents that have buyers looking. So then I can bring that with me to the seller and say, listen, there's actually 500 agents locally that have buyers right now that are looking in MLS based on this criteria that would be a fit for your property. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to contact each of those agents individually and let them know about your project.
Yeah.
We're not just going to
I got
wait
to
for
find
them
out
to
if I can
come
do
to
that.
us. We're going to go to them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's the goal. I mean, it was one of the things that we were talking about today was what are the specific agencies that we know that we could approach who are most likely to have buyers who are buying in that price point. Um,
Well, then you go
there's
to MLS.
another,
That's how you do it. That's how you find out.
yeah,
I think that's the only way you can. I don't know another way to find out. In my MLS, I can create a listing, and before I post it, it'll tell me how many agents. It even shows me the agents, the agents who have potential clients.
yeah. I have no idea if our MLS says that, but I mean,
Yeah, it
I'll
may
find
not.
out.
I don't. It may
Yeah,
not. But then you just got to figure out how do you find that out, right? So
yeah,
it may literally take you sending an email to all the agents locally or contacting all the offices,
hmm,
but you just want to sell it and know this is how proactive I'm going to be. I'm going to do whatever it takes.
yeah,
Like, you know what? This is my top priority. Let them know. Listen, you have 6 listings. Those 6 listings are 100% my priority.
yeah,
That's it, right?
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, awesome. What do you, give me 2 takeaways and we're gonna wrap it up.
Well, first takeaway is manage my energy towards the right, what's going to pay off the most, which is that, the one listing that could reach 6. The second takeaway is the migration patterns. Like I need to find out where that information is, so that, because that's that is hits on a key point that this guy talked about, was, he in his mind, the buyers for his product is going to be people coming from out of state. We don't know that. But at the same time, if I could demonstrate knowledge for where I know people, the majority of people are moving from, then it shows that I'm listening to him, and attempting to hear and take action on what might produce, what might find the buyer.
Yeah, and you could even go as far as calling some of the agents that have sold properties in that area and just asking them, hey, I know you sell a lot in this area. I've got some properties coming up, just to let you know. Also curious, I know you sold 4 houses. Where, where the buyers came from? Like where did they come
Mhm.
from before, before they got here? And they'll tell you. So yeah, you got to do a little homework now.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. All right, my friend. Great job.
All right.
We'll see
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate it.
We'll see you on Wednesday.
All right. Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
You too.